Ready for round 3? It's been a slightly noticeable time gap since we last took a dip into my psyche, but I figure it would be better to drop another My Little Pony video before GTA 7 is announced. Fun fact, in the time it's taken me to create this video, I graduated high school, became too old to be attractive to Minecraft YouTubers, and experienced what some may consider my canon events. I've had an itch only my favorite cast of fetish bait can scratch, so here I am, ready to spread love, laughs, legs, and lobotomies. So drink your favorite laxatives, sit down on your porcelain throne, and relax as we continue on to My Little Pony episodes 6 and 7. Psst, one more thing before we get started. An absolutely behemoth shout out to Armor Nutella for getting me the background gameplay for this video. Without the help of this fine fighter for democracy, this video likely would have taken another few years. Irregardless, on with it. We begin at the start of the episode. Shocker, I know. Twiddle and Psyche are going over magic tricks. They're currently on number 25, Growing Magic. It's not what you think. With a bit of glowy horn shenanigans, Twilight manifests a chevron mustache on Spike's face to great appraisal. Spike then immediately fantasizes about rizzing up an older woman in the mirror. I would say relatable, but that would mean I condone a baby dragon simping for an adult pony a few times his age. That and the fact I like men more anyways. To prevent further fantasizing and of course take away Spike's happiness, she Control-Alt deletes the mustache from existence. His sadness causes Twatlick to laugh as usual. And then...
Pony, pony,
in the next scene, Spike is glazing so hard even a microwaved honey bun is jealous. After yapping and Twilight being humble, we're introduced to the duo of morons. I'd say they share a brain cell, but that would imply they've had any brain activity since they were born. They are absolutely geeking over a currently unknown to us unicorn who's apparently the most magical in all of Equestria. Hello?
Excuse me, have we just completely lobotomized ourselves into forgetting that the princesses literally control astronomical bodies? I mean, for God's sakes, one of them can control and visit dreams, as we later learn. And they have a storied history of eliminating universe-threatening entities together or otherwise. Can you shut the fuck up?
First of all, where did you even come from?
Jeez, why are you yelling at me?
I asked you a question.
Okay, fine. I was just really bored.
It's probably the best excuse I'm getting out of you. Okay, fine. If not from where, why are you here? I just figured this would kind of be my area of expertise. My brother in Christ, you could barely handle household chores. Can we just put our differences aside for now and work on this together? I'd threaten to strangle you, but I know you're into it. Whatever. I'll be back in like a few minutes.
Jeez. I wonder what happens to me in the next few years. Anyways, as I was saying, I'm fairly certain that level of magic power could easily dwarf anything Twilight and this right now unknown unicorn could pixie into existence.
Oh wait, I forgot. The princesses are worthless in the actual show.
Never mind, carry on. Time to meet our new character. Surely she isn't a cocky, arrogant shithead, right?
Come one, come all, come and witness the amazing magic of the great and powerful Trixie!
Is anyone surprised by this information? I know I'm not. And again, I'd like to point out that stating that her magic is more impressive than literally controlling the celestial bodies is stupid. Why doesn't any pony point this stuff out? Rarity basically spells it out to us that this pony is kinda mouthy before Spike tries glazing Twilight. But noticing that his object of obsession is right next to him, he tweaks out and runs away from the woman. Understandable. Women scare me too.
No surprise there.
Hey, you said you'd give me a few minutes.
Sorry, I just assumed you would have given up by now considering your track record.
We have the conflict of the episode episode basically spelled out to us. Twilight doesn't understand the point Applejack is making, and then Rarity gives a few good words. Rainbow Dash is also here to glaze herself, but rather than focusing on the Apple Dash in front of us, I'm much more amazed by the vacant expression on Lyra's face. She's looking at us in abject horror. She knows of our sins.
Your sin is thinking that hair looks good.
Says you, your face looks like an overgrown garden. Onwards, Trixie makes a horse pun. I now have the urge to perform Essence of Face grading on this pony. More taunting incites Spike to glaze. Twilight quickly escorts him away to tell him to shut up, because she doesn't want to be a show-off. This is how we have an episode, folks. Rainbow asks Trixie why she thinks she's hotter than shirtless Majima. She isn't! To which she claims to have vanquished an Ursa Major. What is it, a special bear? She recounts the tale of how she alone sent the beast back to his cave in the Everfree Forest. What you'll quickly notice is that Trixie almost, if not always, talks in the third person, kind of like Chains from Payday 2. The two lobotomites were never taught the concept of pics or it didn't happen, choosing to immediately begin hype manning. This only makes Spike angrier, to which Twilight does this. That ain't normal. Kinda reminds me of a video I watched. I hear one more statement like that and I'm gonna make you exercise with me. Trixie acknowledges her simps, proclaims once again to be the greatest at existing, and then incites a simple challenge. Spike gets on his knees and grovels for Twilight to say it's twilighting time so she can twilight everywhere, but she refuses. Before getting called out for a challenge by Trixie herself, Trixie then decides to call out Applejack, who does some pretty impressive rope tricks that Trixie likely cannot do. And you want to know the funny thing? She doesn't. Instead, Arabian-type music starts playing, and she makes the rope dance like a cobra in a jar before tying up Applejack. This was not more impressive, and definitely took less effort than what Applejack did. But whatever, go off, I guess. Can we really quantify how much physicality it takes to use magic?
There is no universe where this simple maneuver requires more energy than Applejack's display.
Rainbow Dash's turn, mostly because she wants to defend her girlfriend. She does some ultimately basic flying maneuvers considering it's literally Rainbow Dash.
It's neat, I guess, but it's nothing we haven't seen her do before.
What really makes this display impressive, or generic, is that without magic, she manifests a rainbow. Once again, Trixie does not do this better. Instead, she chooses to use her magic to make the Rainbow Dash it summon a tornado to spin around and slam her into the ground.
Then she makes a Rainbow Dash punch. Somebody please punch this horse!
Also, why are the residents of Ponyville so willing to just laugh at the misfortune of who are essentially the guardians of Equestria? I mean, seriously, these six will go on to save the verse repeatedly, several times over, and they've saved the town in previous episodes. So Spike is trying to incite Twilight to act, as are Applejack and Rainbow Dash, only for Rarity to step in and speak like an intellectual. She claims that she won't do anything brutish, but when her mane gets insulted, it's on. Rarity somehow manages to do this out of a solid color sheet. Then Trixie just decides to mess up her hair, making it into an actual rat's nest. Notice the tails here. We then get a really traditional comedy sketch of somebody who is unaware of their current appearance turns to their friends, asks how they look, some of them tell lies, and then one of them tells the truth, which causes Rarity to run away and absent-mindedly insult some random passerby by saying green is an awful hair color. Spike is once again begging for Twilight to actually do something. Trixie, hearing this, steps forward for some dialogue. Does thine other equine truthfully believe herself an equal to thee, great and powerful Trixie? Come on now, Sparkle One. Show Trixie what you've got. I'm afraid you've mistaken me. I'm nothing special, just a commoner. Oh, look at that. My laundry is ready. Farewell. Aha. Cowardice laid bare in the face of Equestria's most magical equine. To think such filthy, talentless mudhuggers would ever dare attempt to stand against the great and powerful Trixie. Do away with you all, for your mere presence offends Trixie's divine eyes. Go! Be gone! In the next scene, the mane is being brushed and the simps are simping. Even Trixie looks uncomfortable with this level of parasocialness. She tells the two she's too tired to give a damn, and then actually says be gone for real. No, seriously, listen. The two idiots back up into... Wait, no. This is a battle of wits that Spike inevitably wins because he actually does have brain cells. But he gives them an idea.
Look,
A bad
unless
idea.
an Ursa Major comes waltzing up the street for Trixie to vanquish, I am not gonna believe a word she says. And neither should you. An Ursa walking up the street, eh?
Transition to Spike in the library. Once again, he's proving that he is smarter than Twilight on occasion. The Mary Sue is just irrationally stubborn here. Nothing that can be done about that. Although I will admit, this next bit is really funny, as is Twilight's dead expression.
But you're the best!
Please, Spike, I said no.
If that's the way you want to be, then fine.
We fade into the ever-free forest with Thing 1 and Thing 2 roaming. How they haven't yet been killed by the forest is beyond me. They wander into a dark cave and there's this bit about snails having magical horn dysfunction. With a couple blue pills, he manages to make it work. Unfortunately for them, they activated a Dark Souls boss. Enough about drama, let's jump to Spike, who's doing the brooding, being very sad and stuff because Twilight refuses to stand up for her people over the belief that she'll be no better than the one she's standing up to. Snips and Snails are running, trying to escape the encounter area, unaware that the boss doesn't have a set arena. The open world is its arena.
Ursa Major to be exact.
The two idiots run to Trix Rabbit, Spike runs to Sparky the Unicorn Goober, and the bus is still coming. The two morons reveal to Trixie that they are the reason that this Ursa is now in town. She can hardly comprehend how two individuals so unbelievably stupid could pull something like this off without dying in the process. But they're not here to be questioned. They're here to see if Trixie is a liar or a truth teller. Give us a show, Trixie. Show that boss what you can do. For her first technique, she attempts to Arabian snake dance rope the bear, but fear not, however. As for her next trick, she decides to do a lightning summon. This lightning attack makes it so angry that then, and only then, does it roar loud enough to wake up the whole town. So you're telling me that it stomping into town and roaring the first few times didn't wake them up, but this one angry roar wakes them up? Call me an ass, but they deserve to die. You're a pretty heavy sleeper yourself. I don't know why you're judging so hard. Anyways, the citizens of Ponyville start running away from evil, while Twilight runs towards the evil. But if you ask me, there's one thing in this scene that's scarier than the Metal Gear-sized bear, and that's Trixie speaking in first person.
I can't. What? I can't. I never have. No one can vanquish an Ursa Major. I just made the whole story up to make me look better. Made it up?
Anyway, Twilight, you're up. Show us what you got. All right, big guy. Get ready. Domain expansion. Friendship. Well, that was dramatic. Anyway. With the threat successfully vanquished, Twilight activates Scolding Mother mode. Trixie does some bragging and runs away. Snips and Snails get detected while trying to sneak away and quickly bow to Twilight, who chooses their punishment as opposed to the Ponyville mayor, who is nowhere to be seen. Then it's letter time. Dear Emperor Cylindrical, today I learned that being a snot-nosed, loudmouth, arrogant prick makes your talents obnoxious, so stay humble. In fact, I'm the most humble pony in Equestria. I'm so humble that people look up to me as a champion of humbleness. Your humble student, Supreme Humble Goddess, Temini Grylite Coral. This is a Fluttershy episode. I like Fluttershy episodes. Also, fun fact, this was my first ever My Little Pony episode. Why? Better question is, why does it matter? That is a pretty good question. Let me go find who asked.
You aren't funny.
Neither are you. You can speak on my name when you can look in the mirror without getting ashamed of yourself. Irregardless, we begin with Flutterbutter feeding the various animals on her property. Holy heck, it's a My Little Worms reference. We then get to meet up with this prick. I swear this rabbit is a terrorist. I mean, seriously. He mistreats people so often, it's a wonder Fluttershy hasn't given him that real hoof-crushing action. Fluttershy can sure crush me with her hooves. That's it. You're getting on the goddamn treadmill. He decides to do one helpful thing in this episode, which won't get him pardoned for his war crimes, thankfully. Helping the clueless cinnamon roll notice that there is a lot of scary smoke moving in a linear path. Kind of impressive how formed it is. I wonder what this could possibly... Fluttershy is trying to be a good Samaritan and warn the people of Ponyville, but she experiences the male essay victim treatment of being ignored by everybody. Rainbow Dash is trying to be a champion of ball bouncing in stiff competition with people like your mother, your sister, and even your second cousin. Pinkie Pie is doing the autism, and Fluttershy is still just suffering. I wonder who can possibly move this plot line along.
Listen up!
Hi, Twy. She explains that smoke is spreading all over Equestria. Clearly inaccurate, as we can see it's moving in a linear path. What caused this smoke? Not a fire, but a dragon. Fluttershy freaks out because she doesn't want to deal with that. So, cut to the library. Discussions about the dragon are occurring. Apparently, he's sleeping, and when dragons sleep, they snore smoke. Interesting. Rarity asks a reasonable question, to which Rainbow Dash answers with violence. Twilight says they need to encourage him, which Rainbow Dash was technically proposing an idea for. I mean, most people I beat up are encouraged to hand over their money. And if one can acquire wealth from using physical violence, surely they can convince this creature to sleep somewhere else. We also learn that apparently allowing this dragon to sleep for too long could spread smoke that lasts over 100 years. If it's that dense and pungent, there's no way sending him away would work. Hell, when Mount St. Helens exploded, ash and dust went as far as the Midwest. That's a long distance. Airborne particles are kind of insane. Logic about airborne particles aside, Twilight packs her travel bag containing books and scrolls. How these things will help is beyond me. They're going to climb a mountain after all. Paper and books won't do much but keep you sane. In another big idiot, dumb, stupid poo-poo head move, Twilight says to meet back at the treehouse in less than an hour. Just a reminder that this is the same scene where we were told that time is of the essence. Cause you know, the smoke will coat Equestria for hundreds of years. So taking an hour of prep time would be one of the worst possible things you can do in this situation. It all depends on how they use that prep time after Rainbow Dash's little hype speech. Let's see. Rainbow doesn't pack anything, merely giving herself war paint. Applejack packs drinks, which is better than the other two for sure, but these are either apple juices or ciders, not exactly the greatest for hydration. I'm gonna assume the other half of the satchel bag has more drinks and or apples. As usual, Applejack seems to be the only semi-competent pony. Pinkie Pie, yeah, we can't trust her with anything. Rarity is... Fluttershy comes out in protective gear, which is actually kind of smart but also not the best. So, among 3 ponies with satchel bags, only one of them has anything useful. Rarity and Rainbow both chose not to pack any bags or supplies, but rather do something with their appearance. Fluttershy at least thought of safety for herself, and an argument can even be made for Twilight's books. But still, among the entire group, the Southerner is the smartest one. Gold star, Applejack. This next scene is... What? What happened to Rainbow's war paint? Why is Pinkie Pie no longer carrying a satchel bag and glasses? Why is Rarity now the one with the satchel? I'm so confused. Alright, I've been holding it in for far too long. I'm gonna make this joke now. Fluttershy looks up at the tall mountain and gulps at the sight of the BBC of smoke. Twilight pulls out this map, which was made by a very bad cartographer. Also, why is she looking at this map anyways? This isn't a map of mountain trails, it's of the valley leading up to the mountain. And we see paths here. This is mostly just a setup for a reoccurring bit where somebody is talking to Twilight while she's absolutely locked in, and she dismissively agrees and nods without thinking, only to eventually realize what that person was saying. This is admittedly funny. Fluttershy is desperate to not deal with this mission, trying to find any excuse, talking about how her animals at her place need her. But no, Spike has it covered. That little rabbit terrorist she foolishly named Angel joins in on the Spike abuse because of course he would. We make Fluttershy a bit more of a whiny baby before— oh, come on! So now, Rarity is no longer wearing her scarf, and Pinkie Pie has her satchel back. You're remarkably hard-pressed about continuity errors in a children's show. How did you get out of the gym? I'll never tell you. Back to business. They roll out, Rainbow Dash nowhere to be seen, and they collectively kidnap Fluttershy in the process. We've reached the bottom of the mountain. Oh my goodness, look, 4 of them are doing the Yakuza 3. Applejack is more enthralled with the Gen Z child hiding behind her to do the Yakuza 3, though. Rainbow tries to rush ahead only to get halted by Applejack's impressive jaw strength. I have pretty good jaw strength myself, you know. I'm about to kick you in your jaw if you don't shut up. So how do we go about ascending this mountain? Well, let's see. Wait. What is this Skyrim horse-type nonsense? Why is Twilight reading a map? There's no path to walk on. What good is a map gonna do? We get some good character writing here, and I say that sincerely. Rarity and Pinkie Pie actually do bounce off each other in this exchange very well. I'll let it play out to give credit where it's due.
Welcome to my cave, Rarity. Care for a diamond?
We get some even more admittedly funny writing. This scene is great as a whole. This invitation joke is also really good. Pretty sure that satchel is also filled with cocaine because Pinkie looks absolutely geeked in this frame. Fluttershy points out what I pointed out. This incline is steep. Steep as hell. But she's a Pegasus, so what's the problem? Well, performing under pressure is often difficult for people, so when she gets spooked, the results are her wings doing the MLP equivalent of turtle heading. Applejack decides to take the map that they keep acting like they need to bring Fluttershy around the other way, and we get this scene where Applejack most definitely grates her hooves. Either her pain tolerance is ridiculous, or she's also on enough cocaine to kill Yama Orochi from Yakuza 5. Fluttershy does her best impression of an opossum. I wonder where this is going. So going back to the main 4, at least 2 minutes have passed since they split up from Applejack and Fluttershy. In the 2 minutes since they split up, they reached a stopping point on the mountain, giving Rarity and Pinkie Pie enough time to play 35 games of tic-tac-toe in the dirt. Boredom really is one hell of a drug. Hard to believe Rarity was willing to do that, but I like it. It's good chemistry. Wow, I've praised a lot of the writing in this episode. Am I going soft?
I don't know about you, but I'm the farthest thing from soft right now.
Is that a Dark Souls reference?
No, I was talking about my penis.
Applejack and Fluttershy finally arrive. Gold Star Pony Applejack being exhausted because she had to drag Fluttershy the entire way. Don't know how Fluttershy developed locked-in syndrome so quickly, but it happened. No time to think about that because time is of the essence. Our next obstacle in this journey is a ravine that needs to be jumped across. Rainbow Dash is very irritated with Fluttershy at this point, but as we all know, if there's one pony who can convince anybody to do anything, it's Pinkie Pie. So we get a song number. Renewed with a sense of motivation, Fluttershy manages to actually try. Of course she messes up the execution, but it doesn't really matter because... And the scene ends with Fluttershy on top of Rainbow Dash.
I've seen something like this before.
Can you stop doing that? In this next scene, they've apparently reached an avalanche zone, where the slightest peep could cause a massive temper tantrum. I didn't know mountains could be autistic. Also, if that is the case, I'm fairly certain the dragon's literal earth-shaking snores would have already caused an avalanche. Anyway, watch how Rainbow tips the first domino of greater conflict. A couple leaves fall and violate Fluttershy, causing her to loudly scream rape, only to be shut up by Applejack. Either the collective sigh here incites the avalanche, or said avalanche has immaculate comedic timing. We get this scene that I would call intense, but I spend more time wondering why this dumb sugar plum poo-poo dummy head isn't using her magic. In just the last episode, she lifted an entire water tower filled with milk and an Ursa Minor. You're telling me she can't stop a few rocks? Or even teleport away? I guess it's cool for tension, but spectacle would be a lot more interesting if this goober was as smart as she acts. Thankfully, Applejack the goat again. Fluttershy apologizes, and I'm left wondering what the real issue is here. They say they'll have to climb over it like it's a big deal, but as we saw earlier, they have Skyrim coding. What, did they also get a random update many years later that killed their modding scene or something?
Rarity's scarf also returns, so that's nice, I guess.
We're shown this treacherous journey, which implies that these horses are struggling with an even less steep incline than they were climbing earlier. Is it because this dirt is supposedly unsolid? It's also remarkably convenient that they don't slide into any of these rocks that jut out. I guess if you want to see something rock hard slap against these characters, you gotta open up an incognito tab.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
idea.
That was a joke, not a suggestion.
Too late now.
Rainbow is still absolutely sick of Fluttershy. This is an accurate depiction of an extrovert and their introvert friend. Everyone knows Rainbow Dash is outgoing. Just ask the closet her and Gilda flew out of in flight school. Twilight is reading the map, despite being at the literal place they need to be. Look at that cave. It's got ominous mood lighting and everything. Oh, how joyous. None of them have their satchel bags anymore. But I do get confirmation on one thing. Applejack did bring food along. Wonderful! Time for the plan. Listen up, weirdos. We got one shot at this. Rainbow Dash, you deal with the BBC. Pinky, Rarity, prepare to be distractions for that big hunk of crap. Put on lingerie if you have to. Applejack, be ready to belt him with apples if things collapse like the South. As for Fluttershy and I, we will head in first. Attempt to convince him that he needs a new sleeping location. Should we fail, there isn't enough lube in the world to make it not hurt. Are we ready? Twilight greatly overestimates Fluttershy's willingness to do anything ever and talks to nobody. We go out and get this scene where Fluttershy states what shouldn't need to be stated, but apparently the other main five can't understand context clues.
I'm scared of... What's that, Sugar Cube? I'm scared of... What?
I'm scared of Dragon Dick! After professing her fears of the funny, Fluttershy just gives up. Twilight goes,
I'm going in.
okay, take my job for me, I guess, why don't you? So she comes face to face with a creature who kinda looks like a man who would erase his name, attempting to choose all the good dialogue options, but her charisma isn't high enough, so she's forced to retreat. Who's up next? Oh no, this won't end well. So Rarity decides to try since her charisma stats are higher and it seems to be working until she tries to nab a couple precious jewels. Element of generosity, everybody. To add insult to injury, she tells the dragon that she'll watch his vast amount of riches. One might even say his infinite wealth. Pinkie Pie decides to attempt using the sustained power of autism. Only because she's merciful does she choose not to immediately vaporize the creature from existence. Rainbow Dash, on the other hand, doesn't seem to understand the concept of weight classes and decides that starting a fight would be the greatest idea. Let's see how this goes. The main five get decimated so hard that it causes a nearby rock to shatter, revealing...
Are you still on this channel, Fluttershy? We're still here.
I told you years ago, I'm done with that life.
You keep saying that, yet we know your true nature. We've been watching. Right now, your friends are in danger. You need to act. You've slain worse creatures before. You must do it again.
No, I'm not what you made me. I'll save my friends, and I'll do it my way.
If you insist. But one day, your nature, your actions, they'll catch up to you. And you'll come crawling back to us.
You listen, and you listen good, boy. I don't care how big your claws may be, how sharply your teeth point, or how many ridges that fang has. The second you start to threaten my friends is when all bets are off. But that dyke kicked me, and? You do realize that you're far above her weight class. You need to be the bigger creature in this scenario. Now, lest you wish to aggravate me further, I suggest you pack your bags and apologize. Easy there. Be a good boy for Flutter, Mommy.
I cannot believe I just said that. With the threat finally mediated, the dragon departs from his cave, leaving behind his infinite wealth so he may go reclaim his name. Though his head currently spins through thoughts of the day he had been subjected to, and almost peace fills him. A blissful emptiness most dream of feeling one day. Spike finally gives the Menace Bunny some well-deserved physical abuse before Twilight comes along to incite a letter. Dear Pencil Cubicle, today I learned something that took me nearly 10 years to figure out. Sometimes your friends falter, but you just have to hold out. The best of friends always come through in the end like a dragon. Much like funk, friendship goes on. No need to flirt with a bomb. There's so much more to life. Friends will always keep you out of the loneliness loop. Just remember, they'll always help you figure out for whose sake you fight. Sincerely, Twilight Jarkle. We get some more actually funny and well-written scenes before the episode ends. Wait a minute.
This episode's original name is Dragon Shy. Oh my god! Well, shit. You done made it to the end of this fucking shit show. Well, congratulations. Now as for my review, Episode 6 introduces Trixie, but it also introduces the lobotomites. It's also an episode where Twilight just completely refuses to realize the lesson until it's openly spelled out to her when she's forced to act. 3 out of 5 sparkle fags. Episode 7. Unsurprisingly, I love this episode. Call it bias, but I don't care. They did so much right here. Plenty of good natural writing, plenty of actually funny scenes, and Angel Bunny gets dropped on his fucking head. Safe to say that this one is getting a 5 out of 5 sparkle fags. Well, that'll rightly fucking do it. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, I've been Beanies, and I'll see you in 2 years from now with episodes 8 and 9.